Alright, so we're back in the world of Path of Exile 2, and today guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about my League starter plans. Originally, the plan was to play a Spark Finder, which was going to take advantage of Spark, and I still think the build is very good, but we're going to take advantage of Spark and just go up to the north side of the tree, get a lot of spell damage cast stuff there, and kind of play around that. And that was going to be our original plan, especially since Incursion is, present right now. But we have a change of heart. Recently, Ziggy D over on his channel, Ziggy D Gaming, I'll have that linked down in the description, gave us a taste of what the Druid can actually do. Compared to what Grinding Gear Games showed us, it looked night and day better. I mean, it looked absolutely insane how the Druid performed. And for me, it just felt like this was the right choice because it looked super amazing. Now, we got a taste of pretty much every transformation. We got to see the bear form, we got to see the wyvern form, and we got to see the wolf form. And this leads me to what I'm going to be playing, because it was impressive enough that we're going to be playing a werewolf pathfinder, or werefinder is what I'm going to call it. So I'm just going to give you guys the general idea behind what we're going to be doing. Just keep in mind, I'm not the best player in the world, so we're going to be cooking it. This is the idea. The idea is, obviously, we're going to be league starting as a Pathfinder. We're going to go into the Ranger, and we're going to be building around the Pounce skill as well as the Lunar Assault skill. Now, from what we've seen from the Lunar Assault skill in Ziggy D's preview, was pretty impressive. Not only was the slashes really wide arcing, they were able to freeze really effectively, and it just covered a lot of area, and things were freezing extremely well. It looked to me like this skill had some really good freeze application on it, and it was freezing targets with almost, I don't think he had any supports that was supporting any form of freeze. He was able to freeze bosses relatively effectively. Now, it has a secondary function whenever you shatter it with your base attack. Long story short, whenever you actually freeze and hit I believe the 5th hit on this, it will cause some of the crystals to fall off the boss from it, and then it will do like the shotgunning effect. That was actually pretty good for a single target, and it seemed to be better the bigger the bosses were, as they will take more of those shattered, I don't know, like ice crystals, and it will do way more damage. The damage overall was pretty impressive for such, it wasn't the greatest gear that he had, gear that's easily achievable, and he was doing pretty good single target, and he didn't have a lot of the other single target skills. Now, this, in addition to one skill that he showcased, which was Pounce, which looks absolutely ridiculous, was also, something that looked really good. What it did was, basically, you're able to jump onto an enemy. This is a slam skill, by the way. It's a slam travel skill, which is insane. It's able to mark an opponent. From what he said, it will always prioritize the highest rarity mob. The person who is marked is going to take increased damage based on enemies around them, up to 40% when you fully quality it up. Each person around it, or each enemy around it, is going to contribute about 4% at the max quality level, 30% at max without it, but quality is not too hard to get. And this is going to essentially make your Pounce do a ton of damage. So the plan here is, at least for me right now, is this is going to be an ice focus build. We're going to essentially use Pounce as our clearing skill, seeing that it's going to be a traversal skill. It's one of the few skills, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is one of the few skills that actually can leap over obstacles and leap over enemies, which is a massive rarity in itself, by the way. So that's really good. It's fast. It's going to be a slam. We can support this with like slam based modifiers, which can easily scale really well. And seeing that we're going to be playing as Pathfinder, we can go to the warrior section of the tree. We can get the melee things that like actually benefit slams. Not to mention that the warrior does have move speed over in his area, and he has a good amount of AoE. This is a desirable thing to use to just scale. We can put some type of Herald with it, very likely Herald of Ice, even Herald of Ash could in theory work with this. And we basically just use our Pounce as our main form of like AoE clear. The cooldowns seem really reasonable, and we can easily, we can deal with cooldown, even if it was or wasn't a problem, doesn't matter. In addition to this, seeing that we are a Pathfinder, we're going to be build around companions. The other function that Pounce does is whenever you actually mark the opponent, depending on the move that you use, like if you kill the opponent, it will summon like allies, whatever, summon wolves. But if you do it on a boss and then you use the double scratch, I forget what it's called, I'll probably have it on screen now, that can actually force summons out. Keep in mind that we are next to companions because we are naturally, a ranger, and seeing that we can actually path up to the witch side or the sorcerer side naturally because of the ascendancy that we are a Pathfinder. We could, in theory, grab things to make our companions and our summons really strong. Essentially, seeing that we're able to move around the tree relatively, not as restricted we have the ability to grab nodes that we otherwise wouldn't be able to grab. So grabbing summoning things could, in theory, lead to making our summons pretty strong. We're going to be next to companions. Our companions are going to give us really powerful buffs. And this, in addition to the fact that we are going to be near crit, I was kind of thinking, and this is kind of me just cooking it up, there's a helmet that I see, I forget the name of it, but I'll have it on screen now, but basically it's a helmet that looks like a wolf. What it does is it gives you evasion, it gives you a pretty sizable amount of crit, I think up to 25%. It gives you 40 up to 40 dex, 150% global evasion rating on low life, that's kind of whatever. And then we're going to get 15% of damage from hits is taken from damageable companions' life before you. Now we actually use this in combination with our companion scaling. We get some companions, we have some wolves, we run around enraged doing a lot of damage. Well, not enraged, but furied, which we're going to talk about in a second, deal a lot of damage. And we just have this, like, I guess I want to say like a hybrid summoner kind of build. We just pounce on top of enemies, constantly get our summons out, blow up the screen, slash enemies down, slash the single target enemies down relatively easily, and just absolutely decimate. That's the idea behind the build. Now, in addition to this, one thing I want to point out is another buff or aura skill that's going to be pretty insane, and it's called Savage Fury. And what it does is, while this is active, you're going to build up Fury, and this is only when you're attacking enemies. And whenever you actively activate the skill, because this is going to be like a persistent buff, you're going to go into a bestial frenzy. You're going to gain speed, you're going to gain damage, but you're going to be losing life. I don't think the life portion is too much of an annoyance with Flask, or just like good form of like regen or recoup or something like that if you use something like that. And then you're going to just get increased attack speed, you're going to get increased move speed, you're going to get increased damage, and this could end up being pretty insane for just overall damage. You're only going to be reserving 30 spirit, which is absolutely ridiculous. I think that spirit cost is more than reasonable, so you're going to be dealing a lot of like attack damage, and this in combination with summoning all your minions, your high crit, which we're going to be probably crit stacking. I think that's what we're going to do. And with our huge AoE slams, I think we have a recipe for one of the most insane setups. We're going to have extra skill points from being a Pathfinder. We're going to have less restricted movement from being a Pathfinder. We're going to be running faster. We're not going to be heavy stun. We're going to be jumping over enemies and being fast. Like, we're going to be super fast, super dangerous, have some minions and companions. We're going to be like the leader of the pack kind of build or something like that. It's going to be insane. That is, in my opinion, my like idea of what we're going to do. I don't want to really make a build guide for it right now, seeing that I have not played it. I don't know how I'm going to allocate points, so it's hard to really say. But I will say I will probably get through the campaign day one, and by the next day I will probably have a build guide up for this, so if you do decide to level through it, you can like kind of have an idea. And then we're going to be pushing the build later into the end game and kind of see how we do with the build. So that's the idea. I know this isn't the most structured videos. I typically don't like making unstructured videos like this, because I like to give you guys a little bit more concrete ideas on what we're going to be making. But that's my thoughts on the build that we're going to be making. I think it sounds really good on paper. From what we've seen in the damage numbers, they look really solid, and I don't have a reason to think that Werewolf is not going to be good, especially on Pathfinder. So that's my thoughts. Anyway, let me know down in the comments what you think, if there's anything you think that can make this build better. As always, guys, I will be live streaming this build live here on YouTube as well as Twitch, so make sure you come check out the channel, see how the progress goes, and just like the Exiles, I'll see you in the next one very soon.